So recently I made my girlfriend play Dokkan for the first time on stream, and it really made me realize that Dokkan doesn't really teach you anything. The panel missions are kind of nice, but after that, the game just throws you out there on your own. So I decided to make a video that's like a complete guide. Pretty quick. I don't think it's gonna be longer than 10 minutes, but we'll see after the recording is done. I might yap for a while. But this guide should be quick, should help everyone who's new to the game, and hopefully it helps you. So if it does, leave a like on the video and subscribe. But first off, what to do after the tutorial missions. I'd say if you haven't already spent your stones, this is where you need to decide what team you're going for. It's very important to know what you're chasing, because if you're throwing stones all over the place, you'll kind of never get to a point where you have a cohesive team. You just have a bunch of good units that you can't use together because everyone's on different leader skills or different categories. But if you're starting during a big celebration, I would strongly recommend going on a Dokkan Fest banner. Even if the carnival is something like Gogeta, it's hard to pull all the units you want because carnival banners are kind of trash most of the time. Like, the main unit's good. There's probably one or two other good units on it, but the rest of it is kind of meh. Besides that, Dokkan Fest banners usually have a lot of usable units and units that got great EZAs. So that's why I recommend Dokkan Fest as your first banner, and usually the units work together slightly better. But sometimes Dokkan just does whatever with the banner, so always research a little bit when getting into it. Just, you know, see if everyone's on the same category as the leader you've picked, but we'll talk about that later. I've got team building guides on the channel as well, so you can go check those out, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Now, my first advice is to start by using the Saiyan Saga team that they give you in the tutorial to basically clear all the Dokkan events that you could possibly need to do, because, you know, you need medals, right? So if you pulled any units, you're going to use the Saiyan Saga team to farm those medals. That's going to help you a bunch. Next up, if you get shafted, I'd say just get started on the Dokkan story. If you somehow didn't manage to pull anything at all with the free stones, or like the stones from the tutorial or whatever, definitely just go straight to the story missions, start grinding those. You can start link leveling. The game will give you more stones, but story is probably the best way to get started. You can go do a couple of things later, but we'll talk about that later. If you did pull something though, doing the story will definitely help link level those units. Links are important because the higher the level of the link, the more damage percentage you get and the more defensive percentage you get. Some links even give you dodge or like crazy defense, or I think like crit chance or something. But regardless, you're missing out on a whole lot of stats if you don't link level. So, you know, you always want to have your links as high as possible. Story is a great way to do this. And then there's also a couple missions in the growth tab. Best thing I can say is the Mr. Popo Training in the Clouds event is really good for link leveling. It does cost a lot of stamina, but it is worth it. The other one that comes around every once in a while is the hyperbolic time chamber. That event is really good as well. Pretty stamina intensive, but very good for links. You're going to want to do your turtle school training every day. That one is like a must do. You're getting stones, you're getting Zenny, you're getting training items, and you're also getting link levels. So very good for links. Now, if you've completed the story, by the time you've got a unit you want, then the growth tab is going to be where you go for link leveling and all these other things. But the best stages to do for links, I'll probably just put them on screen because I don't have them at the top of my head right now. But there's a best stage for green gems, blue gems, and link levels. Those are pretty important. Green gems and blue gems, they're useful because you can buy Kais with them and stuff. The free-to-play units are not the best. Bardock's all right, but you know, you don't really need to worry about that right now. That's a grind you can do kind of later. The best growth tab stages, I'll also probably put those on screen because they just changed Pan's Secret Adventure, which is really good because they give you those Dragonstone shards or whatever that you can use to buy stones and Kais. So those are really good. That was a great overhaul for an event. So, but like I said, you're going to want to do the Mr. Popo's Training in the Clouds. You're going to want to do Turtle School Training, and you're going to want to do the Orbs mission. That's like the bare minimum you want to do whenever it's available. Oh, and also the Skill Orb event. The Skill Orb events in general, not just the Link Skill Orbs, all Skill Orbs. Those are all very, very useful. So don't forget to do those when they're available. Now, if you've done all that and your units are still underperforming, then you're probably not familiar with super attack levels. There are 3 ways to boost super attack levels. First of all, units with the same name and same form: Kais, Grand Kais, and Dozing Kais. So if you can save Kais by farming a free-to-play unit to level up a super attack level, you're going to want to do that every single time. Like, for example, if any base form Goku will have a 100% super attack level up chance if you use the TUR Nimbus Goku. That's like the base form one that you get from the Saiyan Saga story mission. I'll just pop it up on screen. you'll probably know what I'm talking about because I think you have to do a couple missions from that in the tutorial. But anyways, there's a farmable TUR Goku, I believe it's stage 4, and that one is the best way to farm super attack levels for base form Goku cards. So, like I'm saying, basically what I'm saying is if you don't have to use Kais, don't use Kais. Use free-to-play alternatives to save your Kais because Kais are not as easy to come by as you think. Now, dozing Kais are cool, but it's only a 30% chance to level up a super attack. You kind of want to use these first when you're leveling up super attacks if there's no free-to-play option, but the 30% chance is pretty hard to hit. It's kind of annoying. But basically what I do is, let's say a character needs to be like super attack level 10. I would throw in 9 dozing Kais, and then I'd hit the train button, and let's say I got 4 levels. Okay, so he's at super attack level 5 now. Then I would put 5 Kais in, and then it goes to 8. And then I would put like 1 more Kai in, and then it would go to 9. And if the chance hits again, you know, we max it out at 10, and then we didn't have to use any real Kais. So that's best case scenario, but I like to kind of do that to save Kais and also save dozing Kais, if you get what I'm saying. But most of the time you go through about all 20 dozing Kais just to get to super attack level 10. And even if you don't get it, like that tends to happen sometimes too. So don't worry about wasting dozing Kais, it just happens. It's a 30% chance. It's just worth a shot. Now, if you do want to use 100% chance Kais though, the best way to get Kais are from Easy A's. Specifically, old Easy A's that are easy to clear even with the Saiyan Saga team or whatever new units you have. You can just scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, start clearing those. Whether it's the 30 stage one or the LR one, I'd recommend the LR ones because they do hit a little bit harder if you have the wrong categories, but you are going through it way faster. You're getting like 33 stones, and also you get 5 Kais in only 10 missions. Meanwhile, I think it's like 5 Kais for 30 missions in the other ones. So those are really good. You're getting, I think it's Grand Kai, not Elder Kai, but Grand Kai is, the difference between Grand Kai and Elder Kai is that Grand Kai are specifically for the type that they are. Easy A's are pretty much your best place to farm up materials. I also just kicked my desk. But they're your best place to farm materials early game because you're getting Zenny, you're getting orbs, and you're also getting Kai. So very good place to farm up whatever you need. You're always going to get the same type of orbs and Kais as the type of the boss you're fighting. Now, if you need Baba points, my recommendation is go to the Baba's shop, buy a bunch of the West Kai medals for Zenny, and then just sell them for Baba points. You can only buy like 1,000 of these, and then just sell them for Baba points, and you've got like 1,000,000 Baba points. Actually, someone in my chat put me onto this method. Their name is Kat, but shout out to Kat. The other thing to always buy in the Zenny shop is the Platinum Turtle Shells. You can buy 1 a day, and they're one of the best training items in the game. They just make leveling up way easier, so just make sure to load up on those. A big part of Dokkan is learning how teams work and how you can build them. Before you do anything in the actual team builder, it is imperative to make sure everyone you choose is actually getting a boost from your leader. Dokkan is very inconsistent with categories, so even if you think something makes sense, you want to check to make sure that a character is on that category. And you might even be surprised who is on that category compared to who isn't. Like, for example, like Full Power doesn't even have like MUI Goku, which is like ridiculous considering like how much stronger can Goku get when that was his pinnacle at that point in the show. Regardless, sorry, I had to sneeze, but pretty straightforward. I think the best way to check if units are on a category is, I'll probably be doing it on screen. Like I'll show you guys a quick clip, but if you hit the bottom right when you're in character list and then you go to select category, I believe, you can basically just search the 2 or 3 categories that your leader actually leads. Click all 3 and then hit partial match, and it'll show all the units that fit on those 3 categories. And then after that, all you have to do is check 1 by 1 which of those characters also have the 30% boost or whatever. If you're running a full 220 lead, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're running like a Dokkan Fest lead, then it's good to check what characters also get the extra 50% or 30% depending on whatever leader you're using. The game briefly introduces you to the hidden potential system, but it doesn't really effectively explain how to use it and actually get value, because a lot of units will be built with so many unique abilities already in their kit, but the thing you want to do is check what they're missing. So like, let's say a unit has really good offense, they have built-in additional, built-in crit, but their defense is a bit iffy, right? Like for example, I'd say Super Easy A Vegito. He's got all this crazy damage with the counters and the additionals. What would you give him? Probably dodge, right? Or maybe it's just a little bit extra additional, but you want to go mostly dodge because if he gets hit by a super, it's GG. you'd rather dodge a few normals and miss out on some damage than like not be able to dodge the super and just get completely KO'd, right? So for units like that, it just makes sense to give them a little bit extra chance to survive. But then there's units that are like 90% dodge chance, and also I have a built-in additional. So maybe for a unit like that, you'd give them crit, right? Because they need that extra boost since there's no crit in their kit, and that extra chance to do that damage would be nice. But there's also units that stack off of 12 key supers. So for those units, it's almost worth it to take that chance of putting extra additional into them, because it's like, oh, well, if he does do an extra super, he's going to gain like crazy stats, and it's going to make a huge difference in the run. So it might be a bit confusing right now if you're new to the game, but when it comes to hidden potential system, you kind of got to look for what the unit needs by reading through their kit. I know reading is not a Dokkan player's strong suit, but you got to do a little bit of reading when it comes to the hidden potential system to be truly effective with it. Equips are basically the same deal. You just got to see what your unit needs. I like to put like also HP on a lot of units sometimes, because like when you don't have a lot of dupes and you're missing out on stats, putting HP on a unit will make a big difference in your run. HP is not as big of a focus anymore, so it's better to put like defense on certain units, but I just like HP because I like to see if I can get over 1,000,000 HP. It's up to you though. It's just like, where do you want the extra stats? Do you want to have more potent defense, or do you want to be doing more damage? Because you could put like an attack orb on it too, or you can just go straight offense. In the end, like, just know most of these events, you could clear them with a 55% copy of the units, right? You don't need to have a 100% copy of every single unit to be like, you know, just breezing through these events. It's possible even with the 55% and just a handful of equips. So, you know, just look into what a unit needs and put it on if you have the equips. If you don't, it's fine. You'll be all right. Now, before you jump into hard content, just make sure you went through all the steps I've just talked about, aka number 1, link leveling, number 2, super attack levels, and number 3, hidden potential system. I even make this mistake sometimes. I will literally awaken a unit, max them out, and then forget to give them the hidden potential 2000 stat like bonus. I did it on stream yesterday, and everybody was like, why is your unit so weak? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They're hitting for like under 10 mil. And then I went and checked, and I didn't even put hidden potential, like anything into them. So anyways, make sure to do that. It'll make a big difference in your run. And also, my final piece of advice to new players is a lot of people frown on using items in hard events, but we're getting to a point where, like, especially as a free-to-play player, it should be completely normal to use items. So don't feel bad about bringing a Whis or like bringing a Ghost Usher or a Sensu Bean. It's completely fine. Just bring what you think you'll need, and you'll be good. The good thing is, the free-to-play part of Dokkan is very good right now, so there are a lot of great free-to-play units that you can use, and especially with the clones team and like Super ECA Black, you can make a very solid free-to-play team, and then just bring a friend who has the new units, and that'll give you quite a good amount of a boost. I don't know if that's proper English, but it'll give you a good enough boost to kind of get through a lot of old red zones. You'll be able to slowly work your way up, and as you start from the bottom of the list with red zones and go up, the event gets harder and harder and harder, and you'll also see, like, as you get to more and more recent ones, you know, the bosses get harder and harder. So my advice is, if you're new and you want to get into difficult content, you can kind of experiment by doing the earlier stages of red zones and the earlier ones that are released in like 2023, 2022, 2024 even, and you'll see how the difficulty changes and what kind of things you're gonna have to expect once you get into harder content. But anyways, you know, my advice is, once you've kind of gone through this list, you'll already have the hang of the game, and I think you'll be able to figure out where to go from there, because after this, it's kind of just like a strategy game. It's just like, it's very confusing to get started, but after you're in a groove, it becomes so much more simple, and you'll basically just figure out how to do everything on your own. You'll see what bosses kick your butt, what bosses you're ready to take on, and you have, you know, just start doing missions. Like, no one's gonna punish you for messing up. You know, they'll always be able to try again at least 6 times a day for most of these events, and, you know, it'll reset the next day. So don't be scared to attempt something. If you fail, you'll know, okay, I should maybe go back to a previous stage. But yeah, that's my biggest advice for now. Let me know if I missed anything. Make sure to comment down below if you have like any questions about anything. I answer every single comment, so just ask away. If you're new, I'm happy to help. I've got other people in the community who are super nice. In the Discord, you can literally join. It's like linked in the description. You can join that Discord and ask for help. I have tons of people in my community who will help you. I have one of the nicest communities. I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud to call them my community. But yeah, anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and bye.